What's up? Welcome back to episode 8 of
Caramel Cast.
Exactly. That's where we're at. How we doing? How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's good.
I hope everybody is doing awesome. It is another ugly, rainy day tonight. So, but hopefully the weather clears up and we can have bright, sunny skies for a beautiful summer.
Yeah.
I can't believe this friggin' year has flown by as fast as it has.
Right.
Yeah, so very cool, very cool. So tonight, episode 8, we have made it this far. We are going to be talking a couple horror things, upcoming. The theme of tonight is going to be zombies. We decided on that, I think at the end of last week's podcast. So this week we're going to be talking zombies. And we are going to talk upcoming zombie movies. I got a couple things that I was checking out this week. And then we're going to have a couple, debatable things. What's scarier, fast zombies or slow zombies? And what is creepier, undead, where you die, come back to life, eat your neighbor. Virally infected zombies to where you're kind of dead, but you're not really, you're just kind of sick and you want to eat your neighbor. And then the demonic time where you are possessed. Think Ash versus Evil Dead. What's the difference? What makes it scarier? Yada, 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 that kind of thing. And then we'll get in. Joe's got some cool stuff on the metal scene to talk about, so we'll get into that on the back end of the show. But thank you for tuning in. If you are here live, talk in the comments. If not, thanks for checking us out after the fact, speaking to you from the past. Yes, I think that would be how that works. But anyway, diving right into it, fast zombies versus slow zombies. So we're talking, we'll lead with the super fast runner zombies from the Dawn of the Dead remake, or, and for all intents and purposes, we're going to consider the infected from 28 days or 28 weeks later as zombies. So what makes them scary? Why are they scary? Which zombie world would you prefer to live in? That kind of thing, Joe.
To me, if you're stuck in a building, it doesn't matter what speed they would go, I guess, but the slower zombies would definitely freak me out if I was stuck in a building, and I can't get out of this building and there's a zombie in there with me and it's just like lumbering around in the dark, because they're very quiet. They're completely opposite of me. They're very quiet. They're like,
wow. So you'd actually be, well, I guess, yeah, it depends on the scenario and the scenery that you're stuck in, but you'd actually be more afraid of a slower zombie.
Yeah, I would be freaked out by a slower zombie. I would definitely be freaked out by that.
That was so funny to me. I feel like you could just walk up and push them over or something.
Yeah, but if you don't hear him coming and he's behind you, you're not going to be able to push him over.
Well, you got to keep your wits about you.
Well, they made this stuff for that. You drink a lot of coffee, folks, and you can run really fast, especially with a turbo boost in it. You're like hauling ass, and that zombie can't keep up because he's all stupid slow. No, they can be very tricky.
Well,
they can be.
I guess I agree with that in a certain respect. Like if you're if you're real deep into something, you're not paying attention, or you're scared or something, and
right.
Here comes this creepy crawly shambling dead guy, and he can sneak up on you, that type of thing. I guess, okay, so in an outside scenario, what about that? Like if you're outside, let's say walking down a street looking for food or something, fast would be scary.
Yeah, fast would freak me out, because no matter how fast you're moving, they're coming at you. I actually play zombies a lot in Modern Warfare, COD. And every now and again, you're running from one, and it's a game, I've been playing it for 12 years or whatever, and it's still every now and again you're like, shit, it's coming. You get a little freaked out, you get a little miffed by the thing, and it's pretty creepy. But I think Stevie, fast. I think that would Yeah, outside, because no matter where, and how you're running, and it's there, it's with you.
Yeah, I guess I would have to come. Like I write zombie fiction, I read zombie fiction. I love anything post-apocalyptic. You know what I mean? Zombies has always just been my thing. Kind of just always loved them ever since I was a little kid. So I, I really would have to say I would be completely and totally fucked in the zombie apocalypse. I don't think that I would live if there were fast zombies because I would shit my pants. So then I'd be
Yeah.
running with shit in my pants and I would just give up. I would just give up. Yeah, go ahead and eat me. Or I'd put a bullet in my head or something like that. So I guess that right there, I unless I had like a fortified stronghold or something, or a helicopter or a boat, something that I would be able to clearly escape, like with all of my limbs, and I'm okay, I'm not wounded or bitten or anything like that. Like I think that would be fine. I don't enjoy running. I've never been a great runner. Sprint here and there, that's fine, but long term, like if I had to run a mile and a half from like bloodthirsty undead creatures, there's no fucking way that's happening. Like that's just I'm done. I'm done. Leave me.
That's it. The fast hordes, like I guess in The Walking Dead when they're in the city.
Yeah,
And
well, yeah, those are like slow hordes. I think slow hordes freak me out. Like that's like oh shit, because it's like almost like a tsunami coming.
well, you
And
see it right.
yeah, and you're like, well, what the fuck do I do? But I guess if they're slow, you still have the opportunity to be like, well, let me plan this escape. As long as you don't panic and you're not, freaking
Right.
out, you have a little bit of leeway there. See, as whereas with the fail zombies, you're kind of, well, shit, I'm fucked, and that's it because you don't have time for error. You don't have time to dilly dally around and figure out what you're doing. So like a situation like that, if there was like one fast zombie and I had a weapon, I probably wouldn't run away from it. I'd probably run toward it and kill it.
Right.
But if
Now,
there was like a bunch of fast zombies, nope, I'm dead. I'm done. We're done here.
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna back up on you just to hear about the defecating in the pants area thing there. Just for all of those people out there that have no idea, not that I would know this firsthand, it is not easy to run with defecation in one's pants. It is very difficult because you know it's there and you're smushing and it moves and you got the zombie coming behind you, and so you're on two fronts now. You got that going on and a near-death experience behind you, which
Yeah,
is very, very
death
frightening.
is on its way to you, and shit is on its way out of you. So you're kind of like double fucked there. It's horrible. It's a
You're
bad
screwed. Yeah,
time.
you're totally.
Yeah.
You might as well just lay down and let the thing get you at that point, because A, you're never gonna live it down. B, you're never gonna want to fucking think about it again. And C, it smells really, really bad. It's just
But
bad. It smells.
what would smell worse, the zombie or the poop? That's a good question.
Well, the poop on it now. If the poop gets on the zombie, then you're in real trouble. Now you
Yeah.
got issues. You got
Yeah.
a pooped up zombie, and
Uh-oh, I lost
that's
you.
bad. Oh, did we
I
lose
lost
feed?
you for a second. Yeah, I
Yeah.
lost you for a second, and the
Yeah.
last words out of your mouth was "pooped up zombies," and I was like, "Oh man, what a set of last words, right?"
maybe that is from above telling us to move it along now.
Yeah, we're kind of done talking
telling
about
me to
poop.
quiet down with the poop and the zombies. Yeah, but I totally get it. I do. I totally get that. I mean, I would freak. But the thing for me would be like you're in LA and you're in the middle of a crossroad and there's literally nowhere to go and you got maybe a pipe and they're coming fast from all sides. You're just like what do you become ash from Evil
Yeah,
Dead.
that's it. You gotta get a chainsaw arm.
Yeah, and let it ripple. Right?
Unfortunately, chainsaw arms are in short supply. I think. I don't know that I'd want to lug around a chainsaw. And that's the other thing too. Like, think about practicality of weapons. Okay, it's cool in movies to see, yeah, let's mow down a bunch of zombies with the chainsaw, but when there's 35 of them, and things might
Power
get jammed
tools.
up. So we've established fast zombies are scary no matter what. You're just fucked no matter what. And slow zombies inside of small spaces are very scary. You don't want a slow zombie sneaking up on you.
Right.
Slow zombies in hordes are nasty things. So, what is your weapon of choice against these creatures, these undead creatures? What's your, preferred weapon of choice?
If it's the standard zombie package, which would be bullet to the head, right? That's bullet to the head.
Yeah, standard
I
zombie
would
package.
I would absolutely prefer. I know people are going to be like, "What's wrong with you?" But I think I would be pretty badass with a Winchester 30-30 lever action.
There you go.
So I can
No.
even do the one arm, one of them numbers, and be all bad with it because it's badass rifle. But yeah, I think I would want, because a semi-automatic, right? Let's say, or
Mhm.
an automatic weapon. I'm gonna be like, and I'm gonna be out of ammo in like 8 seconds, right? I'm
Just
just
spray
gonna,
and pray.
and I'm all over it, and it's done. So then
Yeah.
I gotta sit there and wait like 20 minutes until they all get close enough to eat me to death, and that's bad. Then I got the gun butt, but that's it.
All
So
right.
I'm absolutely thinking, yeah, something where it takes a little more thought to get that shot in there, where I'm not wasting ammo completely. See,
Yeah.
I'm gaming this. I got game, people. I'm working on this stuff every day. A
Now,
little
what about in the case where noise is attracting them? Don't you think that melee weapons would fare better?
a quieter weapon, maybe
Yeah.
per se a javelin spike, in the
Yeah.
head.
What about a machete? I feel like I would go up to my local hardware store. I would get a machete and I would get a hatchet. And
Yeah.
then I would definitely have those two things on me.
Well, now I'm a roofer,
Uh-huh.
so I swing axe and hammer all the time. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, that would, for me, I mean, let's say I'm on the roof and my very illustrious and beautiful wife told me, don't worry about the dinner tonight because there's a zombie apocalypse happening. Come home when you can. I would have those tools in my hand. I would be very
Yes.
close to an axe per se, and I would always, as a roofer, have a hammer. So
Yeah.
I would be like, boom, 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 and taking them down.
I feel like that's really, I don't know. I feel like everybody would run around with guns and yeah, I mean, I guess guns to me in a zombie apocalypse scenario are more practical for if you're in a just last ditch resort situation where you just gotta pop, pop, pop. But I mean, realistically, could I get headshots? No, I couldn't. So I'm dead again. Dead. Um, I wouldn't fare very well in zombie apocalypse. Let me tell you that right now. You can't reason with them. You can't talk them out of any kind of situation. So I'm a talker. I'm a great negotiator. The dead don't speak. So I wouldn't do very well. But in an undead situation where you're in a, of course, last resort, I don't really give a shit about noise. I just need to get my ass out of here. Yeah, I can see guns being good for that. But really, I don't know. I always see it as melee weapons, whether it be bladed or blunt or anything like that. Oh, hey, we actually do have somebody in the live chat. It's Sean. Hi, Sean.
Hi,
Um,
Sean.
Sean said guns are so noisy. And yeah, I agree with that 100%. Guns are so noisy. And I
For
just
some
really feel
reason, I'm
like
not seeing the chat. I can't see the chat.
I don't think you popped the chat out from the window. But
Uh-huh.
so thinking about what I said earlier, if there was a fast zombie coming down the street, like
Right.
running at me, I don't want to risk shooting it and drawing more of his, Olympian runner friends, and
Right.
then you know what I mean. So I've got my blunt object or my bladed object, and I'm gonna go to town on his head until I see brains come out on the concrete. And I don't know. To me, that's always been more practical. So Sean says, "Howdy, guys."
Hey, I can't see the chat, Sean, so Stevie's going to have to relay for me. I don't know why I can't see the chat this evening, but I'm not able to see the chat.
He said dual-wield swords, Michonne style. So Michonne from Walking Dead.
Well, now, right,
he's got the right idea.
Now, the pros to that would be you absolutely would not need ammunition all over you, and you would absolutely need to keep that, with a rifle or, whatever gun you have, you're going to need ammo. And you're going to constantly, come on. If it's a zombie apocalypse, there's not going to be 5 of these things out there. There's going to be thousands of them. And honestly, who's got thousands of bullets? I mean,
there's probably people out there that do.
All right, now I'm going to pose the question on what kind of zombies. Would this be a drug-induced thing where a chemical has wiped out everybody and brought these people back up and made them live again on as zombies? Or is this going to be the evil, undead, the hordes from hell?
It could be a virus. Right. It could be, like those old legends of voodoo curses. You could also have, in shows like The Walking Dead, it's completely unexplained, but everybody already has the zombie virus in them, so you die and the virus reactivates you.
Right.
And Sean just said here, hell is full, so the undead walk the earth.
I wish I could see the freaking chat window here. I'm trying.
Well, that's why I'm kind of dictating to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. So what would be your, I guess no zombie scenario is optimal, especially when you've got, cannibals running around. But what would be your preferred? Would you rather it be like an Ash situation, like Evil Dead, where it's demonic? Would you prefer viral, where perhaps one day there will be a cure? Would you prefer, like a temporary rage type virus thing, like in, what was the one with Stephen Yeun from Walking Dead was actually in this movie. It wasn't Belko Experiment. It was I think it was Mayhem or something like that, where it was like a 24-hour virus where you just went ballistic and you were just full of violent rage and just wanted to kill everything around you. So what would be your optimal scenario?
I would think demonic zombies would be, now, I mean, that would be the ones I would not want to be up against. The most. That would freak me out the most would be demonic zombies. That would be, and I don't know why. I just, because, they're puppets, and they're being played by a master, right?
Well, yeah. I think in the case of demonic zombies, well, there you have it, folks. The devil is real, and he's sending demons to kill us all. So that's a scary situation. You know what I mean?
Right.
I guess I would agree with that. Because at that point you're like, well, hell is here on earth and we're done.
Right.
But in a situation where, maybe it might take 10, 20 years, something like that, I think a virus or a temporary virus would be the best case scenario for people to live or go on living, because there's always that hope for a cure. So there's that. I guess as far as, do you think that in a situation, because I've already said that I would not live if it was fast zombies, but in a situation of demonic zombies, what do you think, how would you fare, since that's your worst case scenario?
I would probably live a lot longer in that scenario, because I would be like completely freaked and I would be killing virtually everything in front of me. I would absolutely look for a truck, that had gas left in it. And that's the thing I think that would be kind of cool about it. It wouldn't be like a nuclear fallout thing where radiation has stopped everything. You would have weapons at your disposal that, I mean, anything now is a weapon.
Oh, yeah.
I could get in a friggin' train and take them out.
Oh, yeah.
I could do whatever the hell I want. I could get in a helicopter and use the blades for a helicopter. See how creative? And it's all in this cup, guys. It really is. It's just so if there's a zombie, I can go to Dunkin', make a pot of coffee, get creative, and use kitchen utensils, whatever. What I'm saying is everything becomes a weapon at that point. You have a multitude of options.
Oh yeah,
because
I have played enough video games to know anything and everything can be a weapon. Everything and anything, especially and actually that's how, fun fact, FF, how I got my email address, Type It or Die, was from the video game franchise Dead Rising. In the second video game, they have a new edition. There's you get side quests in video games and stuff like that. So in this zombie game, there's a side quest where you have to rescue a group of podcasters or vloggers or whatever you want to call them. They have a show called Tape It or Die. But also throughout the game, you create weapons. So you create your own weapons. Like I can take this pen and this cup and somehow fashion it with duct tape. And there's a bunch of achievements involved and stuff like that. So it's one thing that I've learned is that anything can be a weapon. Just like you said, Sean says the lawnmower from Dead Alive was a great weapon.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, Sean. Totally, completely. I absolutely agree with Sean on that 100%. That was badass. I mean, you don't get much better than a lawnmower blade, and you're lifting the thing up and just mushing and, that's priceless. Who would not want that as a weapon? I mean, it might get a little messy. You're going to get splattered, but
put some goggles on beforehand.
Right. If these things are like this of the satanic version, you're not going to be worried about getting it on you, right? Because it's a health thing. It's not like chemical. They're not going to you can get it on you, guys. It's all right. So what you do is you get a shower curtain, make the hole there around the neck there, and you got yourself a nice bib, right? Now you got to go to the shed and get yourself your lawnmower out. Once you got your lawnmower, make sure you got enough gas and oil in the thing. And then you got to build a fashionate kind of harness that you could put on your chest.
Just walk around with it.
Right, you would need a lever, some kind of a lever action to push the lawnmower forward when you wanted to, like that. And that way, when it's on and running, you can control the throttle from here, right? And you hit your lever, and it goes out, and and you're mush. Your zombies are all mush.
I really liked that reenactment of your situation. I hope that when the zombies come, I have enough time to make something like that.
Well, you know what? I mean, at that point, I could get on a plane. Chrissy and I just come on down there in a plane of our choice. I could learn how to fly the thing in 18 seconds or so, I'm sure. And we'll just come down there and we'll fashion ourselves some lawnmower tools and go to town on these bastard zombies. It's not an unbelievable thing to have happen. I think everybody, might call me crazy, but I think it's possible in this day and age. If you got people, eating Tide Pods and jumping out of moving vehicles, I don't think the zombie apocalypse is too far behind. I'm just throwing it out there.
You've got there's going back to video games. There was a video game called The Last of Us, and there's been a lot of debate about the practicality of zombies and shit like that. And of course, we're not ever going to see anything like Evil Dead or The Walking Dead or something like that. But I think that in the case of The Last of Us, where it's a fungal parasite, there is a parasite that it does exist that infects insects, and it completely and 100% controls the host. It causes the host to go eat this type of food or go kill yourself, that type of thing. The name of the parasite escapes me. Then there's, the whole virus thing where any maniac lunatic with a brain that understands virology and things like that, they could very well create something that, causes mind control of some sort, or, so that, goes back into the, our next topic, that moves us into the next topic about what is the difference between undead zombies and infected zombies, and what's more scarier. And I honestly, I kind of think it's like maybe a coin toss, because on one hand, no, I don't think undead zombies will ever happen. But if they did, sure as shit, that would scare me, because why is this happening? Why are dead things coming back to life and trying to eat me?
Right.
But then on the other side of that coin, you have lab created zombies, or infected virus or fungus or bacterial driven zombies, whatever they happen to be, where that is plausible on some level that it could happen. But there's always the chance of a cure, so maybe not so scary, but also scary because it could happen. You know what I mean?
It could. It's very possible. I mean, you never know. They're cloning people today, and there's a lot of weird gene splicing stuff, I'm sure, that no one knows about.
I mean, hooray science, but at the same time, listen, science community, a plea from me to you. Much as we love apocalyptic fiction and horror and zombies and all that shit, let's never make it happen.
Yeah. No, I agree. The Stand was one of the first things that I read in that genre.
Virus wheelhouse, yeah.
Yeah, I read. I mean, that was actually the fourth book I read by King. I think that was about the fourth book. So I did a lot of the Richard Bachman stuff too. But The Stand was the first one that gave me a real taste of it, and obviously predating the movie, which we spoke about here.
Yeah, in length about how terrible it was.
Oh, look, the hand of God, all right. So I'm not going to retouch on that, but that was a great episode. But that was my first taste of it, and I mean, Captain Trips was actually pretty cool. In its the effects of it, because it wasn't just like they were infected. They they didn't just come in as infected. They showed the whole walkthrough, the process. And
here in recent fiction, there was and a lot of people gave his name escapes me, the author of the Girl with All the Gifts. I don't know if you've seen that. That was a zombie film that was in the same idea of a fungus that was causing people to get infected and become zombies. So a lot of people gave them shit saying, "Oh, you ripped off The Last of Us," blah blah blah. I don't care who rips off who, as long if you're going to entertain me, if you're going to deliver me decent fiction, do it.
Well, see, I'm sorry, but that's the thing, Stevie. It's like, look, all right, let's be frank, honest, and straight up about it. We're not reinventing the wheel here, right? I mean, it's been done. It's been done, and I tell people this in music all the time. All right, and I'll use music. Nobody in particular, but music is an example, and metal, because I'm into metal, so that's my thing. And all right, so you have. The sky's the limit, right? Okay, right. But the sky is kind of full now because it's been around for a long time.
Absolutely.
Right. So you have all these songs written and all these great thinkers thinking and all these great songs coming out. And there's just tons and tons and tons of great music everywhere, right? Which brings you to the creative level side of things for music. You're not going to reinvent the wheel. Be who you are, play the way you play, do your thing. And these days, it's really kind of known pretty much that it's all been done already. And when people come to see you, they're coming to see that bunch of guys, those people that made that song, because it may sound like a song that these guys created, but these guys do it this way, a little different.
Yeah.
So every movie that's made, even though you're going over a storyline that's been out there, like with your writings, you keep a fresh approach to it because it's you writing it,
Yeah,
which
I mean,
separates
you
your
have to
writing from
keep
everybody else's.
yeah, you have to keep a fresh approach. I mean, I read an article the other day. There is a new Netflix series that's slated to come out, I believe, either later this year or early next year. Can't recall the name of it. It's got Emma Stone and Jonah Hill. They're both going to be in it, though.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's going to be about a person in a mental institution and one like what's real, what's not, that type of thing. And a lot of people in the article, like in the comments on Reddit and everything, were like, "This is a Legion ripoff," and blah 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 blah. They're ripping off Legion, and somebody finally stepped up and said, "No, they're not. Just because it's about a dude in a mental institution who may or may not have superpowers, who may or may not know what's real or what's not, everybody is so quick to say something or someone is ripping off of somebody else or
Right.
something else."
Right.
And like you said, no one's reinventing the wheel. We have been on this planet for too damn long. There's so damn many of us that I don't really think there's an original thought left in regard to anything, whether it be books, movies, music, art, whatever. But real quick, Sean just said, "Do you like Overkill? They are from New Jersey."
Overkill. Yes, they are from New Jersey. That's where I'm from. Overkill. And they're the birth. All right, so we can say this here because we're on YouTube and it's allowed to be said. This is the birthplace of "Fuck You," which is an Overkill song. I'm not saying "fuck you" to everybody. It's a song. Okay, let's get that clear. Indemnity here. That's our indemnity. It is a song, and it's by a band called Overkill, and they are from Jersey boys. That's something that's been around in Jersey. So yeah, Sean, that's for you, dude. Right? You know what it is.
He said,
"We don't
"Nice."
care what you say. Fuck you!" Right? That's a great, fun song to play. It is. It's a lot of fun to go see them play that because the whole crowd does it like a Rocky Horror Picture Show thing. All right. So to reinforce actually what you just said, to recap on a little bit of what you just said and reinforce the point that I made about people liking certain people for doing the same thing kind of over. The ones that got upset that you're ripping off my guy who did this is because they're endeared to that guy. And he got it from somebody else who pissed somebody else off, There's a whole wheel going on there of it. And what it really comes down to, I really believe this. I truly believe it's personalities, over originality these days. I think that's really something that needs to be said. I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts? What does everybody think about that? Is it the musician or the writer today, or is it the song or the book today? Which one is it? The chicken or the egg, people? You tell us.
I think it's a matter of personal preference, honestly. I really think it comes down to the consumer, and whether that be the consumer who is reading, listening, or watching. I think that's who it comes down to. It's always a basic supply and demand thing. So if the consumer is demanding more of one thing, let's say, because there was in the recent years, like over the last 10 years, when Walking Dead really kind of propelled the zombie genre back into the spotlight.
Right.
Even though it had always been there, it brought it back in. It was like, whoa, people who would have normally never watched anything horror or ever even gave zombies a second thought, because now something was so mainstream and being consumed on a mass level, everybody and their mother was like, we need to mass produce zombie stuff. This is a cash cow right now. Blah 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 blah. So I think that's what it is, and I think that's why the genre got so saturated. That's why people are getting so sick of it so quickly. I feel like it kind of died down a little bit, and now it's coming back. I don't ever personally want the genre to go away because I am one of these consumers that's like, give me all the post-apocalyptic shit you can throw at me. Drop nukes on people, turn people into zombies, make angry vampires that attack Alaskan towns in the dead of winter. You know what I mean?
Vampires. We'll get to vampires eventually on this.
Anything that's post-apocalyptic, I am one of these people that's like, I've seen it a million times. I've seen the world end in every which way possible, but I don't care. I'll watch it again and again and again because sometimes you just like to watch the world burn in fiction. But I mean, it's a genre for a reason. It's my preferred genre, and I love it. So that's my opinion on it, is that it comes down to the consumer's preference and what do the consumers want, and that's what people are doing. You write and direct and play and perform, and you do what you got to do because that's what the people want, you know. And then on the other hand, you do have the artists that are like, well, I'm going to do it because I like it. And then if somebody reads it, watches it, or listens to it, cool, thanks. You know, I'm kind of both mindsets. You know, honestly, when it comes down to it, I can see both sides of that. I really can.
Yeah. No, I can understand that coming from a playing standpoint.
And Sean just said same thing with slashers in the 80s. You know, they were like, wow, look at this successful film. Everyone is afraid of the boogeyman, you know, AKA the Iron Curtain or what have you, you know. But let's make as many slasher films as we can. And that was a huge booming thing in the 80s and even into the 90s. And then now you're seeing it come back today, like over the last couple of years with Hatchet and shit like that. So slashers have not gone away, just like, you know, zombies and post-apocalyptic dystopian shit has not gone away. I think, you know, I know that we were supposed to mainly keep it to zombies, but you know, we'll talk about vampires a little bit. I think vampires, they kind of got a boom, you know, with Blade and Underworld and things like that. And, you know, definitely 30 Days a Night, man, that's got to be up there in my top 10.
That was one of my favorite films.
I loved it. Everybody was awesome in it. The cinematography was beautiful. Salem's Lot was sick as shit too. I'm actually surprised no one's redone that. That would be one I'd like to see redone.
I don't know who you're going to get to replay. Well, David Soul was actually in that. And,
well, you know, they said that with Tim Curry too. Who are you going to get to replay Tim Curry's part? But at the same time,
was Tim Curry was the master?
I'm talking about Pennywise in It. Everybody said when they were remaking It, you'd never get a new Pennywise that was as good. Excuse me, but when you look at it, people play different parts and bring things to life in their own way.
Right.
Sean said they did a remake with Rob Lowe in 2005 of Salem's Lot. It was meh. I have not seen it or heard of it, but I would agree with that sentiment. I could see it being meh in 2005 with Rob Lowe. No offense, Rob Lowe. I just feel like that movie would suck.
I'm trying very hard to remember the cast of Salem's Lot. There was David Soul from Starsky and Hutch. The kid was a McChristie, I think. I remember the master. I can't remember who played the master, but I remember his character.
I won't remember who played him. I'm not good with names, as you always can see. I'm always like, oh, pardon me, I forgot who this person was.
Right. I can't. It escapes because it was so long ago, and that movie stayed with me because there wasn't a lot out there at that point. I remember,
and like during that time too, like back in the day, you know, and then. Like you had The Lost Boys too, which was a super fun movie.
That was after though, right?
Yeah, it came after, but that was like super fun. That was like horror, but it also had almost like a Goonies style approach to it because you had, a bunch of kids like, fuck you, I'm taking on these fucking vampires. You
Well,
stay out of my
yeah. I
town.
mean, so you had that for the vampire age, and then I guess a newer film for the zombie age. And probably one of my personal favorites of all time was Shaun of the Dead, which I
Oh,
thought,
because that is so fabulous. It was
come
such a
on,
great film.
it's like Super Troopers meet zombies. It's just awesome, you know. I mean, it's a great, great, great movie, you know.
It
And
was like the perfect blend of like dark humor and horror and
yeah,
practical effects, and it was
right.
just, it was so great. Uh, Now that you mentioned Shaun of the Dead, a little lesser known film out of Cuba. It is entirely in Spanish, so if you're not into reading subtitles, I don't ever recommend English dub for anybody because no offense to anybody in that profession, but English dubbed voice actors just lack the emotion necessary to watch the film. It's like insulting to my intelligence to sit there and listen to it. But Juan of the Dead out of Cuba, fucking hilarious zombie movie along the same lines of Shaun of the Dead. Very, ragtag team of like,
You know,
a bunch of
horror.
people in the zombie apocalypse that they decide in the middle of the zombie apocalypse, let's start a cleaning business where we take care of zombies for people and then we clean up after it. And
Right.
then hilarity ensues, and it's a great movie. But One of the Dead, I would definitely recommend that to any lover of horror comedy, or zombie genre
Right.
altogether. It's a lesser known film, like I said, but I can't speak enough of it to people. I really recommend it.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Well, there was that, and then you mentioned a subtitle film, and one hit me. I know I always go off topic, and I'm all over the freaking grid all the time. But one of the movies that hit me that had subtitles that was actually um, really poorly made, but a great movie, and I thought, and it was all subtitled, was Cemetery Man. I don't know if
Oh,
you've
I've
ever.
never heard of that.
That was an Italian film that came out probably in the I'm thinking early 80s, maybe 83, 84-ish. It's called Cemetery Man, and it's kind of like a zombie, almost vampire thing going on there with the cemetery, and obviously Cemetery Man, and he's the guy who takes care of the cemetery, and he's got a digger, a guy that digs for him, digs the graves, a
Mm-hmm.
grave digger, and it's got this whole plot line. So if you could check that out, that's one to go back to. And I
Okay.
remember actually, here comes a segue, people. The Band Attacker. We may have a guest or two on the set next week from the Band Attacker.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe more than two. Who knows? I'm going to be doing a lot of this to people this week, and we'll see what happens. But I was going. Where was I going with this? I was going somewhere with this.
A segue.
Yeah, I got totally
No,
sidetracked.
you distracted yourself.
I do.
Too
My
much
head just
coffee, Joe.
too much
Um,
goddamn coffee.
we do have a question. Sean would like to know, do you remember Monster Squad? I do not.
Yes. Of course I do.
I don't
Absolutely
know.
good. Yes.
I guess I'm showing either my disinterest or my age, but
Loved
I don't.
Monster Squad. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. It was awesome. That was one of the best cartoons ever. Well, it was like a animation thing. I loved it. I did. I loved it. I do remember that, Sean. Yes.
I
Does he
don't.
write?
What was it on? How did I miss this Monster Squad?
Well, this is going back a long time ago. And I remember because I was young. I don't remember because I was young. I remember I was young. Yeah. But then again, I remember being in a crib. Is
Huh.
that weird? That's weird, right? That is weird. They said I
Well,
broke.
interesting.
My mother had to turn playpens upside down to keep me in them. That's the way. And there were holes. She actually had
You
pictures
were
of these
there.
things.
Did you have
She
like
had
little
pictures.
wings, like scars on your back
Yeah,
from your
I would
jiggly
blow
wings?
holes like a zombie. And I would crawl up through the fucking hole and out, Then she would have to peel me off the top of the refrigerator because that's where the
Oh my
cookies were.
God.
Yeah, it was bad. I was bad. Anyway, it has absolutely nothing to do with the conversation.
No, I don't know.
Again,
So you were saying that uh, you you were saying that you had a good segue for Attacker starting
yeah,
stuff for now,
attacker.
and then we were going to have guests next week from Attacker, hopefully.
Yeah. Actually,
So
Bobby Lucas, Bobby Leatherlungs Lucas. I'm sorry if I cut you off, Stevie.
no, 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 you're good.
I got a very bad habit. People think I do it on purpose, and I don't. I just my mouth goes 100 miles an hour, and sometimes I just step all over people.
I think we're all familiar with how fast you talk and our like random departures from conversation into other things. So
I know we both do it too. We go like together
we're
off into
doing
a tangent
it
somewhere.
now.
Yeah, and we're like 305 miles away from the conversation, and no one gives a shit. So we're good. It's all right. It's all good.
Oh my God. Okay,
That's
stay
awesome.
focused.
Okay. All right. So attacker, guys, so focus. People, focus. Attackers coming maybe next week. I'm talking to a couple guys now. Bobby Leatherlungs Lucas, who is a very, very close friend of mine. And actually, in some ways, might even be part of the family there. A little bit weird things go, but Bobby has a radio show of his own, and that's the Metal Bully and the Road Show, who I'll plug here because they're awesome. They're great guys. Bobby Leatherlungs Lucas also happens to be the vocalist of Attacker. Him and Alex do their own radio show. It's the Metal Bully and the Road. It's on that metal station every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. And I am privileged enough to sit down with those guys on that show a lot and have a lot of fun. So Bobby is a huge, huge, huge horror buff. Huge. Would probably smoke hands down anybody with trivia that I've seen in millions of years. Just loves.
I don't know about that. Me and Sean, actually, who's listening right now, he's on my trivia team. So he's on my trivia team.
We will absolutely have Sean on the show. I would love nothing more.
We could do like a standoff and see who's faster and who knows more.
Yeah. That would be great. Bobby, hopefully, what I wanted to do, John Hasselbrink and Mike Sabatini, the drummer and guitar player from Attacker, maybe come on next week together or not. And then I wanted to have Bobby and Alex, if they would come up, maybe in a week as well, or the following week, come up for a show on their own too, in their own rights, because their show is hysterical. It's just so much fun. I mean, you just go listen to it. It's on that metal station.
Tell the people how to find it. How can people find it?
You go to Metal. I'm sorry, it's not that metal station. It's Metal Messiah Radio. I apologize for that. Yeah, I apologize for that. Metal Messiah Radio. And the name of the show is The Metal Bully and the Roach. That's the name of the show. So if you go up to, just go Google Metal Messiah Radio or the Metal Bully and Roach Show. You should get that to come up, and you can go listen to a bunch of stuff. I've been on their show 5, 6, 7, 10 million times. It's just fun. It's so much fun. But Bobby is a huge horror fan, and obviously the singer for worldwide acclaimed Attacker, who are very, very close friends of mine and great guys, and they actually have a new album coming out. So I wanted to plug that in there. They're going to give you the title and everything, all the information. I'm not going to steal their thunder for them, but they'll
very good.
Yep. So we'll have that coming up in a few weeks. Over the next couple of weeks. At some point, a couple of guys from Eat Let will be up on here. We'll make sure that I beat them to death and they come up here and do this. It'll be fun. Sean, obviously, I don't know if you can obviously hear me. I know you can.
Yeah, he said he would. He said that would be cool to do a horror trivia showdown. So
that would be awesome. I would love to have him on the show.
To get some questions together that we can challenge your guy versus my guy.
Eventually, what we'll do is we'll get some swag too, people. We'll down the line we'll end up doing swag.
Oh, I'm sure I can get some HMS swag for sure. Horror Metal Sounds, like t-shirt. I know they got t-shirts, coffee mugs, stuff like that. So I'll talk to the guys about that.
Sean?
Last thing on my list here, you said you've got Eat Lead wrapping up an album. Tell us a little bit about that, whatever you can. Now, I know you said you don't have a name out for it or anything yet.
The Eat Lead, no, there's no title for the record yet. I think it's at this point, I'm gonna guess we're gonna go just self-titled, Eat Lead, and chuck it out there. We are very close to done. I mean, we went down for the mixes a week ago, and I mean, as far as we're concerned, the thing is done. We might go back to a little touch here, a small touch there, but all intents and purposes, it's done. And you know what? I mean, obviously, I'm not like an egocentric guy, but I love our stuff. I'm very, very happy playing the stuff that we play, and it's a lot of fun. So
well, I mean, it's important to enjoy what you do. You got to, and then once it's done, you have to be proud of what you put out there, so that other people. I mean, if it's subpar or mediocre, I mean, and why would you be proud of putting that out there? Why, if you don't enjoy it, why would someone else?
I am. I'm very proud of it. I guess I don't ever want to come off on the wrong foot in anybody's eyes and have them think differently about the way I see things. As far as the music goes, I do it because I love it. I always have, and it's just something that's inherent to me to do. I've been playing since I was 12, so it's just, it's what I do. But I'm a fan of Jimmy's writing. The Jimmy I speak of is James Danzo, and he's been on the scene forever, like I have. He's been been all over the world, done a ton of stuff, and he's just a great guitar player and a cool dude. So I've been a fan of his. Watching him play Deceased, and Chris and Matt are awesome guys. And I mean, Chris, is a great bass player. Matt is an awesome vocalist, live and in the studio. I had, I mean, when we're live, when we're rehearsing and so forth, you don't really hear everything in a rehearsal studio that you hear, in a recording studio. Yeah. So, and the gigs, it's just like, I kind of explode in there, and I hear everything, but it's so fast and so energetic and so much of a rush that you don't hear, I guess, everything as clearly as when you can sit down and audibly listen. And I heard Matt for the very first time last week, coming through the speakers, and I was like, man, this thing's a little cooker, this thing burns. It's hot little demo, and we're real proud of it. And we're going to be sticking that thing out there probably in the next few weeks. We have a couple of gigs coming up too, but I'll announce them next week when everything is locked in stone and everything's down 100%. So the Eat Lead stuff is absolutely on its way.
Do you think that the whole album will be out before the end of the year?
Yeah, oh, absolutely, yeah. It's awesome. It's basically no, it's not going to be a full length. I should make that clear. It's a 6-songer.
Okay.
Right. So it's basically, I guess, what you would consider an EP. Okay. To us, it's an album. You know what I mean? It's our first, so it's an album.
Whatever, man. You could do. People are releasing 4-song albums. That's fine. Whatever you want to call it. It's your baby.
Spoiler, I'll give you one spoiler alert. There's a couple of songs on here that are my personal favorites. One of them is called Lewis Vision. That's a smoker. That's probably one of my favorite songs on the record. And End of the Ride. End of the Ride is awesome. Pray for Your Life is great too. Pray for Your Life.
But Lewis Vision is Joe's favorite, so everybody remember that. Lewis Vision.
Right. Hopefully everybody feels the same way I do and has a favorite on there, and we'll see when it comes out. But yeah, the guys from Attacker hopefully will be up here next week. We're looking forward to that, and we're growing. Stevie, our show is starting to grow a little bit. I'm very proud of you. Very happy.
Excited. This is so exciting. Definitely, we're so happy. Sean was the first person. He'll always be remembered here at HMC for being the first person to actually talk to us in the chat. Previously in the last couple of shows, it showed a couple of people were watching live with us, but they weren't chatting. So thank you, Sean, for joining us live and chatting with us. That was really cool of you, man. And anybody else who's tuned in, but maybe didn't feel like it, or you're too shy to chat, whatever. Thank you for tuning in. We're at 55 minutes here, so thanks for sticking with us if you're still here. And tying back into the horror stuff, there is a really cool movie. Well, I'm hoping it's going to be cool. That comes out September 14th, day after my birthday. We're going to be out of the country, so I won't be able to see it until I get back home. But Patient Zero, I have been waiting for this movie to come out since I heard about it, probably 2 years ago. It looks sick as hell. It goes along the line, it walks a fine line of infection versus undead. It's got self-aware zombies in it, which I'm kind of a big fan of. You're a zombie, but you're smart. You walk around. You're completely in control of your actions.
Awesome.
Cool shit. It's got Stanley Tucci in it, and I think Matt Smith is his name, or something like that. I think he was on Doctor Who at one point. I don't know. No offense, but I'm not a Doctor Who fan. Just never could get into it. But also zombie stuff. I'm gonna shamelessly plug myself. What we have here is Never Say Die. Actually,
Nice.
the last zombie book that I wrote after the Breadwinner trilogy is five short stories, different universes. So it's an anthology in its own right. Different universes. The stories don't tie in. There's not a wraparound story or anything like that. But if you want a fresh approach, if you want, different small spurts of things that hold your attention, check out Never Say Die by yours truly. We were talking about like things we're proud of and things that we love. I really do. And I love the Breadwinner trilogy because it was the first, or the Breadwinner, it was the first full length novel I'd ever read. It was the first thing that I ever released, got picked up and everything like that. But Never Say Die to me stands out because I feel like I really just love the characters. Each character and each story is so different from the last one. So Never Say Die is probably one of my favorite things that I've come out with. Whenever I get finished with writing Earth to Millie, that'll probably be my next favorite thing. But each thing that I write, I'm such a perfectionist that I can write a full book, trash it, and start from scratch because I'm just a disgusting, self-obsessed perfectionist. But we can say that.
Yeah, but your characters, your characters flash. I mean, they really pop. And we're going to get to that.
I just
one episode is going to be about you and your characters, lady.
Hey, maybe we can. I just wanted to fit my shameless plug in there before we call it quits. But thank you so much, guys, from Joe and I to you for tuning in to episode 8 of Horror Metal Cast. We're so stoked for you to watch. Thank you so much. Remember to subscribe to Joe's channel. Hit the little bell so that you get notifications when we do go live so you don't miss us next time. That's really all I've got. Joe, what have you got for the people?
I honestly want to say thank you to the numbers that are growing. I want to say thank you to the people that actually have tuned in. Obviously, to Sean for believing enough in us to step up and be the first and help out and be there for us. And he was there when I was actually a member in Blood Feast, and I did not forget somebody needs a shirt somewhere down the line. I absolutely did not forget that. I don't forget anything ever. But I remember.
Great show.
I promise you that will happen, Sean. I will make that happen for you because you deserve it. You were a fan of that band for forever, and you're just an awesome dude for pitching in and being part of this with us and letting us do this with you is huge. And I would love to pick your brain up here one day. We're gonna do it.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do it, Sean. We'll have to get everybody on the same schedule. Do a horror trivia showdown. My guy versus Joe's guy, and we'll see who wins. We'll see what happens.
what I could
Sean,
do is
I'll
if I'm
send
back,
Joe your shirt size, and we'll get on that. Hey,
yeah,
and if you're
let me
guys
know what shirt
local,
size you want.
my guy's local, I either can go to Sean or Sean can come to me, and we can. That way, we don't have to have a bunch of interference. 4 different people on a phone call. We'll do. You get your guy to come. I'll get my guy here, or we'll do whatever we need to do. We'll do a horror trivia showdown. That sounds like an awesome idea.
I'm gonna get Bobby. We'll talk about this, people, and we'll let you know exactly when this is going to go down. But this is coming. This is going to come down the pipe, and we'll be talking about it this week with everybody. So
it'll be fun. It'll be fun. I think it'll be great. Anyway, we don't really have anything planned for next week just yet. Joe and I will talk throughout the week. Then we'll post on social media, tell you what you can expect in next week's podcast. But in the meantime, check us out on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever your preferred social media thing is. Check out horrormetalsounds.com, one-stop shop for horror and metal everything. Check out Eat Lead. Check out my stuff. And people are awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thanks, guys. And you know what? We'll see everybody next week. Stay classy, San Diego and New Jersey and Florida and everywhere else too. Peace. Later, people.
Bye, guys.